What is up, you beautiful people, and welcome to Canada. So I've just been for a swim while that time lapse is on because it is flipping hot out here. If only the... Damn, you bastard. If only the... I hit it. I hit you. If only this was Snapchat, I could just... Ah, you bastard, stop. If only this was Snapchat, I could just... Oh, okay, there we go. It's 36 degrees. And yeah, it is 5:45 in the evening. It has been a scorching day. And I've got some pretty... And I have got some pretty bad timelines to shoot. Oh my god, that looks... Ah, I can't film. Sorry, I just had to quickly move away from those bloody flies, but as I was saying, it is currently the 3rd of August, and I've been away from the UK for 10 days and on the river for 7, so I thought it was about time I gave you guys a quick update as to where I've been and what I've been up to. So let's get on with that. So it all started bright and early on Monday the 24th of July, where I got up at 4:30 and headed on over to Heathrow Airport to meet the rest of the expedition and to hop on a flight to Vancouver. In Vancouver we had a 5-hour stopover, which I spent most of the time just filming planes, so let's have a quick look at that.
That's so mean!
Isabel, stop bullying everyone! Lovely little layover, we all hopped on an internal flight up to Whitehorse. We then touched down in Whitehorse, home to the smallest carousel I'd ever seen. We picked up our luggage and hopped on a minibus. That took us to the school in which we'd be staying for the next few days in prep for the expedition. Yet, believe it or not, this is not actually a refugee camp.
Banter!
That is all of our stuff getting packed and ready to go out to the start of the expedition. So let's skip ahead to Wednesday, where we got up nice and early and hopped in a minibus to go to Teslin Lake, where we spent the day having our first try in the canoes that we'll be using for the next 2 weeks. We then returned back to watch an awesome sunset over the lake and to have our last night in an actual campsite. We were then up at 8 the next morning for our first gentle day heading down Teslin Lake towards the start of Teslin River. We made it about 5.5k before making camp on a nice long sandy beach, which wasn't actually too bad considering there were some super choppy waves out on the lake and some really strong currents, so we did well to get there. We were then up at a similar time the next morning, where I took charge of the navigation for the day in the aim of making a slightly longer 16k day. We actually smashed out the first 8k with the wind on our backs, so fast in fact that I completely missed the lunch spot and we just sailed on past it, which meant we had to push on to Johnson's Crossing, where we met Sue, who's the chief leader for the expedition, and Belle, who's the media leader. By this point we were off the lake and into the flow of the Teslin River, which meant we were absolutely steaming along. So fast in fact that I managed to let us sail past our next planned campsite, which meant we had to keep on going to the next suitable spot to camp. So we slowly roll up to this huge cabin on the side of the river with a jetty. So Chris, our canoe leader, hops out to look at what turns out to be a series of cabins all empty. So we take that as an invitation just to set up camp in one of the gardens of the cabins. So let me give you a quick tour of that camp. The next morning we were up and in the boats by about 10:30, and within about 15 minutes of setting off we were greeted with 3 huge bald eagles. You can vaguely see one of them here just chilling in a tree. We then made it to our campsite at a place called 100 Mile Crossing after a hard 33-kilometre day, so let's have another quick tour of that campsite. next day we got up and made about 28k before we made it to camp, and this was where things got a bit interesting. So we had to cross over to the other side of the river to get to the campsite, but in between us and the campsite was some pretty intense rapids, which went pretty smoothly until we missed the landing and got sucked into some huge whirlpools and ended up in the drink. Oh, that was some canoeing lingo. Drink means river, so they ended up falling in the river. As you can see, the river bounces off the cliff and creates a huge whirlpool, which they hit sideways and both tried to correct themselves on the same side, which caused them to flip. So yeah, that happened, and Chris managed to pull all of their kit and them from the river, so they're all good and all safe. So the next morning we managed to manoeuvre our way around the Gobbler, which was our nickname for the whirlpools, and to our high water camp, which you can see here. We were then up nice and early the next morning and pinned our ears back for a big 40-kilometre day, which took us to O'Brien's Bar, which is an old gold mining facility. We then spent that next morning doing some gold panning and some well-earned chilling around the camp after a few heavy days. We then sat on a lake paddle to try and get to the next campsite, but then about 15k in, I turn around and genuinely see a wall of water coming towards us. I look back in front and it's clear blue sky, and I look back behind and it's bloody apocalyptic. So this rain cloud eventually catches up with this and it is absolutely pissing it down. I quickly pull my waterproofs on, but everyone is completely soaked through within about 5 minutes. But the thing is, you think that'd be kind of like a low light of the trip, but genuinely I think that was probably one of my favourite days paddling so far. Literally felt like the river had turned upside down. You couldn't see like 5 feet in front of you, but everyone was absolutely loving it. But Chris makes the call to pull into the next campsite so we can set up camp, try and get the tents up, try and get the fire lit before we genuinely drowned. So we pull up to this little island.
Want another pancake?
If there is one, I'm not bothered.
30.
Thanks, Ben! I do love pancakes. So we pull up on this little island and head off into the woods to try and find this little campsite which is marked in the guidebooks. We find it, but there's no access for the barrels and the tents and stuff. So we go back to the island and we decide that we're just going to camp there for the night, try and light a fire and stay there for the night and hope it clears. So a team of us managed to light the fire and everyone else has got the tents up really quickly, and all of a sudden the rain cloud just clears and it's clear blue sky and it is bloody lovely. Go on, James! Go on, James! Go on, James. Go and get your pancakes, son. Go on, James. Go on, James. Go on, James. So we managed to light the fire, cook a quick dinner and get off to bed for the night. Sorry, the light's going. I have to quickly change this. Okay, there we go. I'll be quick to finish this off. So we wake up this morning to beautiful blue skies on our own little island, and we decide to have a 0k day because we want to sunbathe. So have a bit of a sunbathe, bit of a swim, bit of a chill after a really good week in the canoes. Right, so you're fully up to date with what I've been doing for the last 10 days. I apologise, it's a super rushed account of what happened over the last few days, but I really haven't had the time to be able to film a full day. But I'm going to try and fully film tomorrow as a single one-day episode so you guys can get to see a bit more as to what kind of happens day to day on the river and at camp. And I need to introduce you to my fire, so I'll be doing that tomorrow and posting that in the next few days for you. But yeah, sorry again for the weird nature of this, but... oh my god. But yeah, sorry again for the weird nature of this first video. I do hope it kind of made sense and this narration kind of thing worked. I don't know if it did. The videos in the future should be a bit more straightforward, but I will see you next time, and until then, bye.
I do it for the love, yes I do. So you don't care about the money.